he's like, make sure you learn that thing inside out. You stay up all night if you have to and read the manual and get to know this console and this board really well, because it was just brand new. And people would call me because I just was one of the few that knew it, because I was like, oh my God, he told me I should do this. And it paid off.
In the Nashville I once knew, Paula Montondo was in a band called Shasha Boom. I met her at a Kinko's in Nashville in the mid-90s, where she was making one of her famous posters. Paula was an A-list audio engineer in Nashville for 20 years. Steve Woods and I sat down with Paula to hear her stories and find out what she's doing now.
Ta-da! I see a photo. Oh, there you are. Oh my God, you're sideways. What happened?
Wait, you're sideways.
Wait, no. You're sideways. Now you're not sideways. Now
Yeah, no. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Ooh, where are you?
Oh, I'm at home, but I left my computer at my mother's, and so I'm using my iPhone, which I never use except for video and all this.
You look fantastic.
Oh God, I took a shower.
I dressed up for you because I loved your video with Rebecca, and I was trying to find my polka dots and I couldn't. So then I just went for this, and
those are so cute. I want some cat glasses too.
1, 2, 3, 4. Take it down to the candy shop, buy a brand new lollipop. You say you want to come out and play, show you how in a brand new style. Come sit on mommy's lap. You find it hot, baby, that's a fact. Grab your toys, throw them in my trunk. I'll show you all cruising down Broadway.
Brian made that video. He produced it. Yeah, right before the pandemic, actually.
Here's a clip from an impromptu interview with Brian Hardin and Paula a month prior, when the four of us reconnected after 25 years.
I'm not even going to put lipstick on, you guys. I'm just going to increase the lipstick.
I don't have any lipstick on either.
Damn it,
Veronica
me
puts
either.
them on him. Put him on.
Damn it.
Put lipstick on the pig.
You have to be careful with this stuff because it'll
I haven't
jump
seen
around.
you guys. I haven't seen you guys in so long. I'm so excited.
How are you? I like your glasses.
Thank you. I just thought I'd be a rock star. I'm outside of where I live here
All
in
right,
fabulous Columbia, Missouri.
The street is its own character.
Oh, you're in Missouri.
Yeah, I'm in Missouri. Yeah,
I'm in Knoxville.
that's the Blue Note. There's the Blue Note. I live across most of the club where they plays, at least. I'm down there. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
And you guys are in California, right?
We're in Los Angeles.
Los Angeles.
Woohoo!
Culver
Hell
City.
yeah.
You
Oh,
guys.
we're recording?
God.
Yeah.
Oh boy, we're in
We've
the red.
been recording the whole time. That's what's so funny.
Always be recordings.
Where did you start from?
I was born in Buffalo, New York, but I moved from there when I was like a toddler, so I don't really remember Buffalo, but grew up in Cincinnati.
When did you first realize you were an artist?
Well, I played drums first because I went to Finland as an exchange student when I was in high school, because my sister went to Greece, and I don't know how my mom afforded it. She was a single mom nurse. I don't know how she did it, but it was amazing. And so I go to Finland as an exchange student. And when I came back, my mom's like, so would you learn another culture and language? I'm like, I learned the drums. And she's like, okay, we live in an apartment, but that boyfriend you're dating, and if you break up with him, I'll buy you a drum kit. And I went, done. Knocked on his door.
That's nice. Let me.
Bought me a drum kit. She's like, now we got to get you in a band. And she takes me to this record store, and it says drummer needed on a little envelope up on the bulletin board. And so I go there. I call this band, and they're like really avant-garde. They're playing weird timing, and they're kind of psychedelic, weird. And I didn't know how to really play drums, and I would just bang along. And they're like, "You really avant-garde. This is perfect."
Nice.
So I was with them for a couple of years. It was awesome. Yeah, always music around my house. My mom always had music. She played piano. My dad played guitar. And then writing music is when I started dating Gwyl Owens. You know who Gwyl Owen is, right? He has the other shop with Griney. He has the bookstore.
Okay.
Oh,
He was in the Thieves for a while.
Oh, that's okay. The Thieves.
We were living in Ohio because we both went to Ohio University. Yeah, I had an all-girl band in Ohio at Ohio University called the Paper Dolls. First gig I ever played drums, it was at Ohio University. Anyway, there was literally, because it was the first time they'd ever seen an all-girl band, it was in the 80s, there was a line down the street and around the block. And they were packed against the stage, and I was playing going, oh my God, this is crazy. This is fun.
you're like the forefront, a pioneer in a way for women. And that's one of the reasons I'm so excited to get to interview you.
Aw, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's probably like you just don't think about it. You just, because you love music and you love to play, so, but yeah, I guess I picked kind of more male things. Like I always played drums. I was an audio engineer, and just kind of all my friends were men, I didn't have many female friends. And now that I've gotten older and I'm in LA, most of my friends are female. I mean, I have male friends too, but my really close friends were in Nashville, it was the other way around, all my.
Well, when you meet people and they like Rebecca, I can see you guys are just so magic together.
Masquerade, drinking the midnight blues. Your mama now. Your cosmic undulations are steady coming through. Your molecular structure, baby, me and you.
1984 is when I moved to Nashville with Will Owen and Jeff Finland. And we all lived in Donaldson in a big old house. They're both amazing songwriters. And Jeff was his drummer at the time. Will got nominated for an Emmy Grammy, for the soundtrack for Horse Whisperer.
I was looking for a soft place to fall.
He's a professional songwriter, and that's what he did. And he still is. He's a great songwriter and friend. And Jeff Finland as well. They're both amazing songwriters. And Jeff was his drummer. But we were all living in Ohio. Jeff was living in North Carolina at the time, and we just called him up one day with his girlfriend. We're like, we got to move somewhere. And we pulled out a map and we're all just picking places, Seattle, wherever. No. And so I'm like, okay, cool. What about Seattle? And he's like, hey, Jeff, what about Seattle? And Jeff asked his girlfriend, how about Seattle? No. Oh, wow. Finally, I said Nashville. And we're like, how about Nashville? Yeah. Teresa, good. Yeah. We all like it. Yeah. Okay. So we literally packed up our stuff that week.
You could have gone and been a part of that whole Nirvana scene if you had gone to Seattle, but you just a decision to come to Nashville.
Yeah, it's like one of those decisions when you're like 19 or 20 years old that you just go.
Who were your musical influences?
Elvis Costello, Tom Waits, Talking Heads, David Byrne, Brian Eno, all that kind of stuff. I liked quirky and I liked funky, anything kind of with a groove. So when I started playing guitar and doing Sha Sha Boom, it was, I was writing, all the stuff initially. I was writing everything. And then later, we all kind of, toward the end, we were all collaborating, because they were way better musicians than I was.
Now, were you singing when you were playing the drums? And also, when did you finally decide to go ahead and be a front man? Because I loved seeing you as a front man. Well, yeah, a front woman. And I remember, I swear, I think I was at that concert.
You might have been. It was, I don't know, it was at 328. The girl who used to sing with me, Brandy, she was doing the video, and she used to be a singer. She was dating the drummer. So there's a lot of the drummer, but it's funny because I was dating the bass player for years on and off. And then Laura, our other singer, was dating the guitar player. And then later the other guitar player, Jody, and I were together. So we'd be like, hi, we're Fleetwood Mac. Sha Sha Boom.
Cats on West End Avenue used to have concerts. Jason Scorchers, that was a legendary concert. I was not there. I want to think that was in 84 or 86. Another legendary concert was Mr. Crowley's Garden that became the Black Crows. Jeff Cease was in that band.
Whoa!
They played at Cats. Royal Court played at Cats. I never played there, but I didn't know.
Wait, where's Cats? Where was Cats?
It was on West End. Cats on West End. It was close to where Tower. It might have been where Tower was. Like I said, that was a leader before me.
Do you remember Cantrell's though? Right? Remember Cantrell?
I remember Cantrell's.
Cantrell's. We actually played opening the 10,000 Maniacs when I was in the all-girl band, the Paper Dolls.
Oh, snap.
Really?
Yeah, and Natalie Merchant had really long hair then. She was wearing like this baby doll dress, and there weren't a lot of people there. It was early on, and she was spinning around in the middle of the floor. Raging Fire, I think.
Yes.
Melora Zayner.
Yes, Melora.
Yeah. And
Mark
yeah,
Medley,
yes.
who played in the Vegas Cox briefly.
Oh.
Yeah. When you guys were playing in the mid 90s, I mean, I remember seeing you at 16th Avenue. I remember having a conversation with you at 16th Avenue. I remember you and Laura Frazier, my manager, having a conversation. But I don't remember a lot about it. And I was going to ask you, does that jog anything?
No, I mean, I remember you guys, but I don't think we ever play.
Yeah. Exit In is where we played mostly. Did you do any of those 91 Rock players?
Heather Lowe was the
Heather Lowe.
Heather Lowe, she was the program director for the sister station to Lightning 100.
Lightning. Yeah.
And she is now with John Reed.
I know. Can you believe? Yeah.
Who was my boyfriend for a while, for a very short while. Well, kind of for a short while, but anyway, those two together, so beautiful.
It really is. Yeah.
Both just the coolest.
Where did you live in Nashville?
I lived, and you and I think we lived close together because Brian and I were talking about that. Everybody lived off Belmont Boulevard pretty much. Like I was on 19th for a while, and then I was on right off Belmont 1 street.
Where?
Right off
the
of
Gray House on the triangle, right behind the Circle K.
Circle K. That's on our list. Any stories about the Circle K?
God.
Yeah, and Jim Dandy, where the guy would go have a Jim Dandy day.
Yeah, have a Jim Dandy day.
Look.
Oh, yeah.
What? What is that? Say,
it says Jim Dandy. It's a Gretsch. It says Jim Dandy. I don't know if you can see it.
I want a parlor guitar like that. Is that really the name of it? I love it, Jim Dandy.
Jack Irwin had me put a plug in it, and they did it for like $60 at Guitar Center. And it was right around the time of the pandemic. And so then I put this Bill Lawrence pickup in there. And if I can get the right amp to get tremolo, that's what I need.
Kind of like a nice tube amp.
Yeah.
Maybe with a tremolo.
See what happens. Talking gear.
I love it. I went to MTSU, and then after that, I made to be like a guest teacher or speaker down there. So I would do that in Murfreesboro. And they had for the final class project, I don't know how many, a couple hundred students or whatever, and everybody would submit their final mixed song. And so I submitted mine, and then 10 people out of everyone who submitted would get picked for the album, and then the number one would get the top thing. And mine got picked number one because I was not because of my skills at all, but it was more that I picked a really good band, and I was producing, and I picked a really good engineer, Jeff Coppage. So it was literally just getting the right people together and picking the right song and the right band and producing.
Did you put the band together, or did you use a Murfreesboro band?
It was Mark Schinkel's band. It's on, the Rim album or whatever. But then I started getting a lot of calls I was interning at the Castle, but I just got more calls for work at studios because of that. So it helped me as a kind of a calling card.
Can we get a copy of that?
You're so cool that you're like, you love all this stuff. We just need to get a band together.
Oh, you just said, let's get a band together. And I'm like, oh, better be careful what you ask for, because you're multi-instrumentalist and you do it all.
He was the only female recording engineer in Nashville.
Yeah, and my first real session was Hank Jr. They had fired the engineer. Something happened with the engineer. They fired him, and they're like, "Do you know how to run this thing?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I mean,
she would call me up and go, "Where's the power button?"
Oh my God.
what are all these knobs for?
Oh, that's louder left and right.
I was interning there, so I kind of knew what I was doing. But anyway, then I kept getting hired after that. So
yeah, because she was funny and awesome. And she still was funny and awesome.
At the Castle, I was having to edit on the Fairlight for the first time. We could see the sound waves. And there was a part where he wasn't singing, and we kept seeing these spikes, and we're like, what is that? Is he shuffling around? He was farting.
He was farting.
So we had to edit out it was part of my job. I had to edit out the fart.
You love every band that you were in, but how did you get uncomfortable enough to want to try a new band? Or was it location, or was it boyfriend, or like what got you out?
Crazy relationship stuff going on. And especially with Eric and I think he asked me to marry him a couple times. Oh, he's still like, there's part of me that, he was still kind of the love of my life. But that one, I'm an idiot. I was doing last show with DJ from Lightning 100. I helped put the show together where there were a bunch of bands playing and there was a parking lot. And we had vendors and everything. And I said, when I turn 35, I'm going to not play anymore because I'm going to be too old to play. So, and we were doing great. We were, getting a little bit of radio airplay. We're playing different towns all the time, had a lot of gigs getting better. We go down south to Mississippi, or we go to Atlanta, or we warmed up for those Squirrel Nut Zippers in Atlanta one time. Leslie Hermsdorfer from Lightning 100 and from 91. Yeah. She was our manager, and she was actually a really good engineer too, because she went to school for engineering and she was managing us. And one night I came out to the castle and she was mixing one of our songs that we had recorded up there. And I was like, damn.
So she would get you gigs, and was it to get you guys kind of known, or was it to just to make money so you could kind of stay alive?
We didn't make any money. No, we were just gigs. I don't think we made any substantial money, but we did record our album at the castle with Rob Feaster and Joseph Noyens, they were pretty much the record label that kind of funded it and let us record there, which we were so grateful. Even though I was kind of always there recording in different studios or whatever, but we had Rob Feaster producing it, and he was so good. I don't know if you guys know who
is Rob Feaster.
He actually ended up working with Crowded House. Yeah, I was engineering with him. He had not only just a good ear. I got a lot of work from him because of him. He said the new console would come out. It was the G4 or something like that, and it was all kind of automated computer. And so he's like, make sure you learn that thing inside out. You stay up all night if you have to and read the manual and get to know this console and this board really well, because it was just brand new in Nashville. Because there was the Neves and the SSLs, and I was learning the SSL console. And I was one of the few people in town that knew it because I did what he said. I was like, I just started learning it like the back of my hand and knew how to do the computer. And people would call me because I just was one of the few that knew it, because I was like, oh my God, he told me I should do this. And it paid off.
And is that how you ended up in 16? So I know you worked in 16.
I worked at 16 a lot. I worked at the castle a lot. I worked at Downstate.
I know the A room had an SSL like that. They automated. B room didn't, but A room was automated.
I worked only the A room. I don't think I ever worked in the B room.
You're an A room girl.
I remember you in the A room.
Tell me more about Peter Wolf.
From Jake Giles' band.
I used to see him in the tower a lot.
So I worked on that album for 6 months. He was really cool. He was kind of a germaphobe, but he was just super cool. But Dummy here decided one day to pretend I sneezed on him by just splashing some water from my hands. Pure panic moment. It was not good. There's a bunch of other stories, but he said he hated singing, but he loved the results. I worked with Jimmy Bowen a lot. I worked with Keith Stegall a lot.
What were they like?
Oh, Jimmy Bowen, of course, he had a Capitol and produced everyone from Frank Sinatra to everybody under the sun.
Everybody.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah. And he was hard to work for. Like he could be mean, right? And so I didn't know that. I'm just like, I'm an Ohio girl. And one time I'm working with him and he's literally insulting somebody in the room and being like really like American Idol, the British guy who used to be like that.
Simon Cowell, yeah.
Yeah, Simon Cowell, only worse. He'd just be like, you're an idiot, you're never going to work again in this town, blah, blah, blah. And I just broke out laughing and the whole room got quiet like, oh shit.
Oh my God.
Never going to work again. And he looks at me and he winks. And I was working with Rob a lot. I didn't really care if I worked with Bowen, even though he sometimes would pay double. He'd say, oh, I want this cassette. He goes, you know what I did with that tape you gave me? I threw it out the window because I said I wanted on on one side, both sides, not one. And I was like, well, that's the only one you're getting. And I walk away and he's like, okay. Because I'd be like, I don't care, you know. Well, what I would do when I first started writing, wasn't Shasha Bum. It was my friend Curtis McFarlane put the people together, Gordy on drums in the session. So we went in the studio, recorded, and my friend, I was writing on a little Casio, and he's like, make sure you have all those songs done by next week, and then play them for me. So I was like, oh, okay. I never thought of actually playing anyone my songs before. So I did. I was just playing drums then. I had a guitar. He's like, great, we're going in the studio. And he got all these amazing musicians. And was the beginning was my music. Kind of the same lineup, except in the beginning, I had a different guitar player and drummer. And I would come in with my little 4-track idea and go, here's it. And I didn't know chords. So I would put my fingers in weird positions and go, it's a W chord and it's in the key of R. That's all I know. And so they go, oh, that's really, it was kind of more complicated because I actually didn't know what I was doing. So I'd play weird chords and little riffs or whatever. And my bridges would be in a different key or whatever. And so when I got my guitar player, Jody, at first he didn't want to play in my band. I went to his house and he was crawling around on his knees. He couldn't walk. And I was like, why is this guy? He's like, let me show you my pedals. And he crawls on hands and knees into the bedroom and pulls out his pedals. And the whole time I'm hanging out with him, he wouldn't get up and walk. He just crawled on his hands and knees. And I'm like, I think I like this guy. Tried really hard because he didn't have the guts to say he didn't want to play in my band. So when he'd come to rehearsal, he would play and I was like, oh, this is perfect. Oh my God, I love this. Yes, you're it. The harder he tried to turn me off to playing with him by just playing just horrible, distorted, like chords that were atonal, the more I was like, oh my God, this is the sound. This is perfect. And of course, 7 years later, we were still together in the band.
Why'd you come to this town? Blowing like the night on the verge of a breakdown.
Because after doing country all day, I get like, I was like, yes.
ChatGPT told me that was the moment for everyone that felt very science fiction in the recording world.
Oh, totally.
Their light.
We were mesmerized by stuff like that. No one had really seen. We had oscilloscopes, there in the back that nobody had really seen it and been able to interact with it like that. You had frequency analyzers, but not that interaction like she was saying.
Right.
So, yeah.
And advice that she got from Rob Feaster was what kept her career.
Oh, yeah. And again,
A-Rod.
she was one of the first. She was one of the pioneers. 16th Avenue Sound. Man, 1217 16th Avenue South in Nashville, Tennessee.
And shout out to Rebecca Stout.
Oh, my gosh. Of course.
Rebecca Stout, who's just one of my best friends. She just moved back to Alabama, but
Oh, did she?
her first gigs was with the Shakers there, and she was in this gown, and it was I don't remember who all was playing, and I had me and Tiny from the Paper Dolls, and we were called the Kumquats, and we did just 2 songs. So Rebecca, that was one of her first gigs, and she was probably 16, and I didn't really know her then.
The Shakers was 91, 92, I think, or 90. I can't remember.
She had Circus Inebrious, which was the most brilliant band I've ever seen in my life. I was like an instant fan. It was like, here's Rebecca with her megaphone, her straight legs. She looked like
Dreadlocks, 2 red ones over here.
the Nashville Symphony guys in bow ties on each side with strings. I was just in awe, and I was like just an instant fan. And now that she's my friend.
And also, let's not skip over the fact of her clogging.
She's in the Bluegrass Hall of Fame.
So Rebecca and I wrote a song called "You're the Apple of My iPhone," and it has the same kind of vibe. I know it's so dorky, but we would just drink tequila and just come up
That's cute.
with songs, and not to do anything with them, but just to laugh for ourselves. And then we ended up recording that with Brian on the same video shoot that we did the other one. And we started it like the Wizard of Oz, where it's black and white, and with the actual phone recording of.
Oh yeah.
You're the apple of my iPhone. The apple of my iPhone. And you're so cute. I always love you. Mad daddy with the hard drive. Smile lights up my screen at night. I like your stylus. Beep, 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 beep.
Becca and I did another song called "Straight from the Fridge." I put like more of electronic drum beat behind it and electronic bass. And it was a 20s style song. And it's based off of a book that I had called "Straight from the Fridge," which is all slang from the 1920s.
Oh,
and
sweet.
Fridge means cool because it's
Hell
straight,
yeah.
cool. And
Oh, hell yeah.
so all of their lingo was like, we're going to ace out the shape in the drapes. That means ace out means we're going to
Yes.
kill. Shape means a girl in the
Do you
drapes.
have this book? It just needs to be my new lingo. I want to talk like this. Okay, sorry. I like it when you say those words, honey.
Our song is like, oven hot daddy, you know, straight from the fridge. And it was like really fast. And Rebecca's at one and I'm rapping one. And so we kind of mixed that 20 style music with the you know, kind of the modern twist to it. So Rebecca and I, during the pandemic, were asked by a friend of mine, George, who used to work at CBS Records, and he moved to Canada to run this big studio up there. And his boss wanted a musical, an idea for a musical. So Rebecca and I came up with a musical movie idea, and we recorded 5 songs, and one of them was "Straight from the Fridge." And it's about the future, like in the future when people, you know, just live in these virtual worlds and everything's sterile and everything. This guy, he makes virtual games, and he accidentally learns how to time travel, and he goes back in time. And for the first time, he's thrown back in the 1920s. And first time he's like actually smells like smoke and BO and dirt, and, you know, and he's got blood on him. And he's like, what? Wait, what is this? Because it's such a sterile world now. And so he falls in love with this girl at the speakeasy. And so we write all these 20s style songs, but only with kind of a modern twist. And one of them was the "Straight from the Fridge," and the other one is "The Apple of My iPhone."
Now, are you guys playing at the speakeasy that you went to the other night?
I know it's when you're talking about 1642. I've never played there, but I would love to sometime for sure.
We asked Paula about her guest appearance on MTV's The Syphil and Ollie Show. Created in the late 90s by Liam Lynch and Matt Krakow, the cult puppet comedy became an MTV favorite. The show originally started in the home of music producer Brian Hardin, where Nashville creatives were constantly making music and oddball videos. Krakow is now an executive producer on The Secret of Skinwalker Ranch, while Lynch later went on to direct Tenacious D in The Pick of Destiny and released the cult hit United States of Whatever, featuring Ringo Starr on drums.
Matt Krakow, he was sort of the straight man in it, and he is so funny. And they just would improv. They'd send each other little tapes and just say whatever came off the top of their heads, and then that was the show.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the show. What the hell's that?
Oh, that's my cell phone. Let me get it.
Dude, you turned your cell phone on and brought it in here?
Well, no, I just never turned it off.
I did one episode where they gave me a puppet, and I had to act like I was supposed to be sleeping with a horse or something. I just improv. Puppets, so, you know, you can do that.
What did you say your name was? Oh, not again.
They would say whatever. What? Why?
United States of Whatever.
Oh, yeah.
This is my United States of whatever. And this is my United States of whatever.
Matt Krakow, he's a showrunner now. He's in Utah or wherever it is now doing that. But he comes back and he lives in LA and plays music, and we jam with him sometimes. So.
You were just somewhere I had
everybody was amazing musicians, great songwriters, great song craftsmen. And that's what we were used to. And then you go out of town and they want to hear a cover. And we're like, what?
Oh, yeah. We were just crucified. I mean, it was brutal. It was brutal out there.
Go down south and they're like, would y'all? We don't know what to make of us. And we're like, We opened for Fleming and John a couple times, and I sold them. And I sold them my drum kit. I'm an idiot. Not an idiot. I'm glad they got it. But my mom had bought me one of those clear yellow Vista Light Ludwig drums, which are collector items. That I mean, they're worth so much money. They only made of them. But at the time, like in the 80s and 90s, it wasn't cool to have this 1970s drum kit. Yeah. So I wanted to. I went to Fork's Drum Closet, and he was not going to cover it up for me. He's like, no, that's a Ludwig kit. And he was smart. So I wanted paisley. So he pasted this like paisley stuff on it that came off easy. So I ended up spray painting it with black spray paint. And I ended up selling it to Fleming and John and to their brother could play it for $300.
John McWilliams.
John for $350. And Fleming, they couldn't get the paint off. And one time Fleming took her little, she was doing her nail polish remover, and she put it on the drum and it started to come off. And they were all sitting there with cotton balls and nail polish.
Oh my God.
All the spray paint from the clear Vista Light drum.
Oh my God.
So they probably have it. If you guys are listening, it's worth a couple $1,000 now. We think we know the same people because Nashville was so small, but really we're just like, wait, how did you not know them? That's so weird, When I was in the Paper Dolls, the all-girl band, Walk the West was popular, and we would warm up for Walk the West. Okay. I was dating John Goldman, the bass player, and my guitar player, Tiny, she was dating Will Goldman.
There you go.
And then John, because I had just broken up with Will, and he's like, we could date other people. And I'm starting to go out on a date with John Goldman, and Will shows up. He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going on another date. He's like, we can see other people. And he's like, whenever, when you're that young, that's what you do. So anyway, so John and I dated for a while. And then after me, he started dating Kim Beasley. And I remember seeing them across the place that was next to the exit in. And I walk in, I see John with her. We were broken up, which was totally fine. And she was just so beautiful and so nice. I was like, oh my gosh, she's so nice and she's so pretty.
WTF, is this LUV, or am I effing crazy?
I think it was at Dennis, someplace on stage, and you were sitting there playing guitar, and I was like, she is so cool. Why didn't I think of that? Your socks didn't match. And I thought, why didn't I think of that? Oh my God, she is so cool. And you were just so casual and just so hip and just kind of playing yourself comfortable. And I was like, oh my God, she's so cool. And your voice is gorgeous.
We all got spoiled. We all got so spoiled because everyone
in LA, I hate to say it, but even in LA, the level is just not even close to. I mean, there are some great musicians here, of course. And of course, big stars. But as far as the everyday you go out and see live music, it's thin pickings. I don't know if you know who Mike Lawler is, but he was a session player. And they had T-shirts that said Planet Lawler because he's just this kind of really weird guy. But he played with James Brown. He played with Steve Winwood. He was one of the A-team guys. But he was a quirky one. But he would do things like, he'd crawl under between the artist's legs or whatever. And then we'd all go to lunch and he'd be back in the vocal booth, even though he was the keyboard player, singing into his hand, and nothing coming out of his mouth because the mics were live and he would just be mouthing. We don't know what, but anyway, he just was. And then he would have the ground lifts, like 8 of them stacked up like this. We're like, Mike, the ground is lifted, and he's like, well, I know, but I just gotta make sure that I don't want no humming going on. I don't want no kind of stuff. So he asked me out on a date one time, and everybody's like, oh my God, then you would have to go and tell us, what is gonna happen. And so I go out on a date with him, and he first takes me to what was Jody Faison's expensive restaurant across from
1-2-3.
Near Hillsborough.
Cafe Faison.
Faison.
Go to Faison's, and we're about to go to the concert of the what was it with Roy Orbison, Tom Petty, and
the Wilburys, the Traveling Wilburys.
Traveling Wilburys. So he's taking me to that concert. But we go to eat first, and we go in, and he pulls out his flashlight, and he goes up to a table, and goes, "Oh man, that looks so. Can I try just a little bit? I won't eat much. I just want to try because that looks good. Can I try your? I mean, I just want to order." And he's got his flashlight out, and they're like, "Mister, you've got to sit down." I just want to try it, you know. Oh, I did actually go on weather date with him, and we went to this fancy restaurant. And he was on this fish, and it's like one of those, you know, hundreds of dollars for dinner. And they're like, "Sir, we don't have ketchup here." He goes, "I know." And he hands the guy $100 bills. He goes, "I want ketchup on my fish, my mahi-mahi." And the waiter's like, "I will go get you some." And the waiter runs down the street, gets some ketchup. In the meantime, he goes to the piano, takes over the guy's piano, and starts playing really loud rock and roll. But we go to the Traveling Wilburys, and he's like, "You stand right here. I'm going to seat some people because I got a flashlight." So he goes and starts seating people and asking people for their tickets and seating people. And we go backstage afterwards, and he went to Cooter High, and he has a Cooter High sweatshirt.
Oh my God.
"I got this sweatshirt for Rye Cooter because I went to Cooter High, and I think Rye Cooter like my Cooter High t-shirt." So we went backstage, and he gave Rye Cooter his Cooter High School sweatshirt. Anyway, he was a trip. He was a trip. Amazing piano player, and he played on many a famous. But the other session guys had T-shirts that said Planet Lawler because he was on his own. He's on
the question. I have a question. It's a burning, interrupt you worthy question.
Yes. What?
Because the question was going to be something to do with you going on the second date with him after he got the flashlight after you almost got thrown out of Payzons. But wait, but then I said to myself, no, the question is, and why didn't you just marry him that night and just be done? Just be done. You will be, because it answers the second question though, which is you went on the second date because how could you not go on a second date
with
somebody? It is not going to be boring. It's you never know what's going to fucking happen.
Not going to be boring.
As illustrated by what happened on the second date.
Yeah.
Not a third date though, right?
I absolutely love this. This is a blessing. And I love your TV idea too.
I remember now, starting to remember, but the Jim Dandy turned into a Mapco.
The Piggly Wiggly was across. Oh, that's right behind Brown's Diner.
Piggly became Hills, became Harris Teeter, Compton. Yeah. Because it's been there forever. And the guy, I think, just still worked there like the whole time.
I thought that was Jim Dandy because he had greased over hair and he'd be out in the parking lot smiling and waving to everybody. And when you'd go buy something, he'd like, "Now you have a Jim Dandy day and here's your dandy change and you get your dandy Coca-Cola right there." You know, and he'd always, "Now you have a Jim Dandy day," like that. And we're like, that has to be Jim Dandy. I do remember the Gray House. We'd go up and hang out at the Gray House. Top of the Hill. And Chris Feinstein lived across the street. The Raging Fire, Melora Zahner.
Oh no, I know where you're talking about. I know exactly where you're talking about.
The Gray House was up on the corner at the top of the hill. And it was this old black mansion place or Chris. Yeah. And all of the kids who wore black would go, you know.
Wishcraft lived up there in one of those houses.
Who was your champion when you came to town?
What do you mean by champion? Define.
Greg Humphrey was one of my champions. Like he would live, eat, breathe my songs, just be there with me with it. Like just schlep to the studio, everything.
I don't know. Maybe Rob Feaster with engineering. And when I was in Shasha Bum, it was Eric, my bass player. It was unconditional love and support.
International market.
Yeah. Just ate there way too much, got addicted to MSG and anything with noodles. Yeah. Gold Rush, it was so smoky you couldn't see the end of the bar because there was so much cigarette smoke. And of course, you go there after you play Exit In or you play at the end. Everybody would go to the Gold Rush and everybody and their mother, like even ZZ Top, Billy Gibbons, because I did drum samples for him. And I remember seeing him there. He's like, there's our drummer, Paula, because it was when they were first sampling drums.
What?
And Castle, and they were using the Fairlight then, and so they're like, I was
really?
like, interning at the time anyway. And they're like, can you go in and hit the drum? So I hit it, and Billy would go, okay, hit it like a rim shot. Okay, now hit it in the middle. Okay, now hit it soft. And then so I'd hit the snare a bunch, and then now hit the kick. And then I do. So they were making samples that they used for their album. I was in Shasha Boom. We played, I think it was Main Street. And there was some show that was all that like hardcore, like speed metal screaming, where the guys, they're not going to like us at all. This is going to suck. This gig is total, and they're all like teenagers, right? So we're like, they're going to hate us.
Oh yeah.
This, we're like No Doubt meets, Primus, whatever.
How old were you guys?
We were probably in our early 30s, late 20s. So we were not teenagers, right? But all the kids are up there on the. So we're backstage, and I'm like, this is going to suck. I was always like, guys, no drinking or getting drunk before a show. You can have a drink or two, but because we had drinking problems in our band, except for our
that's a shock. Yeah.
Our other background singer, she was a school teacher. So she was very good. She was very prompt on time. She was a school teacher. So we're backstage. She comes back with a thing of Goldschlager, and she's like, we're getting drunk. I was like, hell yeah, we are. Please never get drunk on Goldschlager. So we start chugging this stuff. Jody, my guitar player, finds a trampoline back there, a little one, and he takes magic marker and starts drawing all over me. He starts drawing on my arm, a little bit on my face. He's got Popeye tattoos on my arm. We're drinking Goldschlager. We get on stage. We are drunk. I'm jumping on the trampoline and bouncing into the guitar player because I'm just like, we're like, this is going to suck anyway. And I was like, fuck all of you guys. And they're like, yeah, they start coming to the stage going, yeah. I'm like, no, I mean it, And I have magic marker all over me. And I'm like jumping on this trampoline. And my Laura, who's so like, she's always drunk. Jody was drunk. We were all trying to jump on this trampoline. It was a hot mess. And it was so, and they loved us. Oh yeah. And then the kid who was the lead singer in the band before, was like, and he's like 16. He comes afterwards and asks me out on a date. And I'm like, is your mother here? Does she know?
That's rock and roll, man. Hell yeah.
Light mommy's cigar. That was one of Shasha Boom's favorite thing, was to go to the cemetery late at night, and we'd have picnic. We'd like, because I got this from my sister. I don't know if you ever saw the movie Harold and Maude. Anyway, how they would like have their little picnic in the cemetery. So when we were teenagers, my sister and my friends and I would watch the sunrise, and we'd bring a picnic with some bread and some cheese and grapes and play music in the cemetery. So I started doing that with Shasha Boom, and so all of us would, like Jody and Lauren and I would go to the cemetery and, bring something to drink. And we had the song called Furman's Tomb because we'd sit up on his tomb and drink whiskey and, But it was just so quiet and peaceful and beautiful there. And you can kind of see the lives of people and their names.
He knows that we're all stuck out here. When I look up in the rain, number 3 I can't explain. Me and you, I must ask, what's it
In front of the pizza place, there was the poster of promotion for the guy who sang one song. I think he was homeless, and he's like, Jesus is a UFO. Don't you want to go, go, go? Remember him?
Jesus was a UFO. UFO. Don't be slow. Don't you want to go?
Jesus is a UFO.
Somebody thought he was so cool that they had him warm up. And that was all he would just say that. And I think he was some homeless guy, and they put it on the poster, and it was in front of that pizza place.
Oh, man.
Ladies and gentlemen,
When we interviewed Grimy earlier this year, Paula came up in conversation.
And in the less than that 1 year, I started Slow Bar.
Okay.
Which is where I saw Paula Montondo's Blip TV.
Oh, shit.
Years before TikTok and Instagram Reels, Paula Montondo was already producing short-form comedy for mobile phones on on-demand TV through her company Blip TV, later named Shortbrain TV.
And then with Blip TV, we got signed to Sprint, AT&T, but like 5 or 6 different distribution outlets. We almost had to deal with DirecTV, but then we had to switch our name. Whole other long story. Anyway, this other company wanted.
Is that how you moved out there?
Tell her what happened about you moving. You called me?
Oh yeah, the reason I moved out, I just wanted to change from Nashville, and I was just, and I called Brian. I'm like, Brian, Alex and I are like thinking of moving. We just
Before she even finished the sentence, what did it?
That he's like, just rip off the rear view mirror and just drive this way. And we ended up moving like a week later.
I'm going to walk away and try to go somewhere quieter, but I'm coming at you from the fabulous Blue Note here in Columbia, Missouri. Hello, and we've got some Nashville people coming right there. Shout out to the Mummies. They'll be here. They'll probably have already played. I don't know if any of these other people, but if they are, there you go.
Thank you, Steve. You're a roving reporter.
Yeah, I always trying to put them up because it's all about connections. It's all about, it always was. It was back then. It is now. And it's everybody helping each other, and the creative process, I think, is great. Yeah,
I love this. I love it. And I would love to help in any way. I don't want to intrude on your and Steve's thing.
Oh my God, no, please.
As much as I can. I try to help as much as I can. I try to do as much,
He helps me with my homework.
Oh, I love that. Do something happens. Do nothing happens. Bye, you guys. Have a good night.
Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for free to receive more content like this. If you liked this video, please check out these other recommended videos. Don't forget to visit the links in the description and check the comments to share your thoughts. Thanks again.